That's the way we're supposed to reverse that. Do you know that, girls? I want Buck to be known as a strong person because that's exactly what he is. See, being Cherokee, I demand a lot of discipline. I'm not like Elizabeth Taylor, but in one thing I am like her. She says I need a strong man to tell me when I can and when I can't. Evidently she hadn't found him yet because she's had a lot of tryouts, hadn't she? Wonder how she remembers all their name, which one she wakes up with in the morning, doesn't she? I have to have that. Buck is very lenient with me with my gift, but he's wonderful sometimes when he'll come up and he'll say, now Dottie, and in private, that's what makes him wonderful, when no one's around. He'll say, honey, I don't really think you need to say this anymore. Now let me explain why. And I believe you ought to be careful right over here, you know, in this or that. And I'll say, tell me why. And then I open with anointed ears. I listen because he's doing it for my best behalf, you see. He's doing it for my benefit. It makes me look good. So I listen to him, okay? I'm secure because he makes me secure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you want me to tell you about secure women? I have so much to cover, I'll never get to all of it today. Secure women are like one of the women that I met today, and I won't point her out, I wouldn't embarrass her, but she came to my table, and she said, thank you for giving so much of yourself to others. She says, I've been following you all these years, and she started telling about articles that she clipped out of papers, and she's quoting them, you know, word for word, line for line. I said, you really have been keeping up with me. So many things she knew about me, and she was almost to the point of tears. You know, thank you. And she just voluntarily bragging on me, you know. And I have a hard time receiving compliments, do you? And I have to pray about that, but I really do, because I know how silly I am. I'm not everything wonderful you think I am, but keep thinking it's quite all right. Women that can compliment other women are very secure women. If you can walk up to somebody that looks tough enough to model for sex, and you can say, my Lord, you're wonderful. What kind of makeup do you wear? Oh, your size is perfect. Anytime you see a woman that can do that, you can just lean back and say, that woman has got everything under control. One time I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I sang 2 services. It was just packed and jammed. The house was, and in between I went out to the little public restroom. Sometimes I do that to hear all the gossip, because boy, when women get in the restroom, we just let everything go. We just tell everything that we know, don't we? It's awesome what we talk about in the women's restroom. There ought to be a hidden tape recorder. And I went out there, and there stood this really pretty lady. I mean, she was pretty, and she walked up to me when I was blotting my powder, and she said, I wasn't coming today because I didn't like you. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, have we met before? No, we haven't met before, but I saw your picture in the paper and I didn't like you. I didn't want my husband to see you. I thought, oh boy, her husband is raising a child. That's what insecure people are, little children. He raises the wife and then he has to raise the children because they're even threatened by their own kids. Especially women are threatened by their daughters. If their daughters look good, if they dress, oh, it's true. I know a preacher's wife that you know that had to go for therapy because she was so jealous of her teenage daughter in the way that she looked. I looked at this girl and I said, honey, you have no right to be threatened by anybody. You're gorgeous. She said, no, I'm not. I'm very ugly. I said, okay, let me tell you something. Your daddy told you you were ugly. Your daddy constantly told you were ugly. She said, yes, he did, and I believe him. I said, your daddy lied to you. You're gorgeous. See, we look at ourselves from the inside out. Our thoughts, the way we act. That's the real beauty of us, is what comes out. See, out of here comes beauty. And it can make the whole outside look good, or it can make it look bad. Bad thoughts or bad language, bad action can absolutely give you wrinkles that you didn't have before. Did you know that? And it changes expressions of eyes. It brings wrinkles downhill, and then you're really in trouble. It does do that. When you're insecure, you can walk into a room and everybody knows you're there. And nobody wants to be around you. You're not affectionate. Nobody wants to touch you. You don't love. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying these insecure women are like this. And it's a sickness, and it'll scatter. It's catching. You don't want to stay around it too long. That's the reason I seek out people like Sandra, you know, that just bubble and laugh and giggle and honest and vulnerable. And that also is so addicting. It's very important, girls, the women you run with. Some women sometime get a hold of my telephone number. I don't know how they do it. I change it real often, but they'll find it sometimes. I hate telephones. I stand to announce I hate telephones. I hate them. I won't hardly talk on the phone. And if it rings and somebody wants me, I run and stand in the tub. And Buck says, she can't come now. She's in the tub. It's the truth. God being my witness, it's the truth. So if you call me and you're dying, and Buck says I'm in the tub, I will be in the tub for sure. I'm telling you. Insecure women live on telephones. Insecure women, excuse me, Lord, I'm going to close my eyes, live in front of the television for soap operas every day. Please hear me, and there's nothing wrong with a soap opera. Oh, please don't misunderstand me. I never watched one in my life because I don't have time. And another thing, I'm impatient. I can't stand anything that doesn't end right then. I cannot stand it. But honey, there's more to life than soapies. The only name I know on a soap is Rachel. And I don't even know who Rachel is. Do y'all know who Rachel is? You don't? Well, I had a little beautiful black housekeeper in Nashville for 21 years. Her name was Katie, is Katie. She's wonderful. Loves the Lord, loves me. When I moved away, it was like leaving my sister. But she was the cutest thing. She'd get everything. She'd hurry through the house, get everything done so she could get back to her washroom, turn on her television, and do her ironing and washing so she wouldn't miss her soaps. And I knew exactly how to get her started. Reba loves soap operas, by the way. Don't tell her, but she does. She loves them. So she and Katie would get together, watch those soaps, you know. So I caught one name was Rachel. Rachel's a mean old character on somebody's soap. And you got to know who she is if you watch them. I don't know. I don't date some. He was. Oh! It should be Days of Our Wife. Or As the Stomach Turns, I don't know, but I love this man. Katie, if I could get her going, I'd walk in and say, what's that old mean Rachel doing today? I had no idea what she was talking about. And she said, I'll tell you one thing, Miss Dottie, if I could get my hands around her neck, I'd choke that woman to death. Says she full of the devil. That woman needs prayer bad. And I stand there, she go on forever and forever. I said, well, why don't you pray for her? Call up and pray. And she's serious as a heart attack about these things. But honey, that's insecure. There's too much in life to hide in a dark room with the blinds closed and watch this stuff. You can go out there, girls, and minister to the credit cards. Get out there and get them. Sure, go to health club and work out. Run the track. You watch them, I can tell you do. Now, please, I am so balanced you wouldn't believe it. If you like soaps, you watch them. Just don't send your husband home on his lunch break to tape them if you miss it. Now, that's when you get desperate. Oh, I know women that do that. Is that too sad? But it's like it's out of balance. It's not just, I'm just picking on soaps because I don't watch them. I'm so perfect. But they tell me that you can miss about 4 months and come back and Sally's still having the baby. 4 months later. Aren't we caught up in a whirlwind, girls? It's no wonder there's so much brokenness, confusion, frustration. There's no wonder that the whole world's spinning around in divorces. Did you know that, really? And do you know that we didn't bring it on ourselves? We really didn't. This started a long time ago. Really, it started with Eve. Now, there's one I'd like to get hold of, right there. Somebody said, oh, but it was Adam. Well, I think it's kind of half and half, don't you? I think there's both involved there. It took two to tango, and I think they both were involved, but I still think that she was influenced first, and I'm getting in here to meddling, and I think if she had used her influence, she could have stopped all of that. Don't you think so? 'Cause it's back to us women. We're responsible. My God, I better move on here.